Welcome back to the final part of the final debate of the week. Steve Sidwell and Lee Hendry are alongside me for this one. Now, few things would seem sillier than going after the greatest player of all time at your particular football club. But Eric Abidal, the sporting director at Barcelona, has suggested perhaps that Ernesto Valverde's departure from the Catalan Giants was to do with the players not necessarily doing their utmost for the manager, which prompted Lionel Messi to go on social media and react to it, basically calling him out, saying, if players are pulling the weight, name names. From the outside looking in and not having an intricate inner knowledge of the machinations of what Barcelona is, to me, Steve, it seems like there is only one winner in this, even though there have been talks with Abidal and the president, and he is sticking around. End of the season's not too far away. Presidential candidacy is up next summer. It can be brought forward. It seems all a little bit uncertain, doesn't it?
It does. And needless as well, isn't it? Why make it a public spat? I think Abidal's learned very, very quickly what you can and can't say being in that role. He's not in the dressing room no more. You know, he's on the other side of the fence. He's got a shirt and tie on. You know, we've been in dressing rooms where you can dig people out, and if you are going to come out and start saying what he's saying, then expect someone to say it. But fair play to Messi, because whenever does he speak up before? You know, so he's showing signs of sticking up for his teammates as well, to say, right, well, if that's the way you feel, you know, you name names and we'll see. Because if you're going to come for me, I'll just pull out the stats, 600 goals in 700 games and with 6 Ballon d'Ors, and if you're going to come for me, then it's only going to be one winner. So.
I mean, the thing that I've got to just get in my head is that Abidal, he's been, like you said, he's played with Messi. He's been in the trenches. So I'm saying, you know, as an ex-player, if you've got something to say, surely you've said it in a change room. Surely you're a big enough man to go in the change room and say what you've got to say. And obviously I do like the fact that Messi has come back and said to him, well, name players then, you've been in this position. So, you know, if you're not going to say who it is, or you're not going to, you know, come in and speak to us, well, you know, you're sort of hiding behind the fact of doing it the way you did, which it baffles me. It does baffle me that an ex-player can actually, I'm not saying that they can't do that, but you just think that he'd know the knowledge to go in and have a conversation if he really felt that big about the situation.
Steve, you mentioned the way that he comes across, Lionel Messi. I mean, he appears not to be a fan of the notion that he dictates everything that's going on at Barcelona, that he's either kicking a football around, playing on his PlayStation, or whatever he plays on, and just likes to be the footballer. But come on, I mean, there's been coaches, there's been presidents, there's been players. Ibrahimovic has been one that's come in and said, I want to play somewhere. Guardiola said, well, sorry, that's where Messi plays. And then he was on his way. He must know the clout that he has got at this football club. And if he is going to just go in and say, can you not say that to his millions of social media followers, it's going to cause a big uproar. Is he more political than he lets on?
This fella is the king of Barcelona. Come on, we know that.
Totally.
But I think he doesn't walk around with an arrogance like it. I think he does. He's got this image. He's got this persona where, you know, he is respectful. But when something hits a sour note with him, which obviously this has done, because he could be saying the same thing to Abidal, saying, listen, you just concentrate on your job. You know, we've got Suarez injured and Dembele injured. Why are you not getting a striker in for us? So, but again, needless to come out. It should be done in-house. Could it have been done in an office, you know, somewhere they've had a chat? What's their relationship like? We don't know. But certainly one thing's for sure is that the ears of certain English clubs would have pricked up and be taking notice of it, that's for sure.
Certain English clubs, it's rumoured that he's got a clause in his contract that if he's unhappy, he can leave in the summer. Would he swap balmy Barcelona for rainy Manchester? His favourite coach is there.
Well, yeah, I suppose that'd be the only thing that...
The beach isn't the same, but...
Exactly. I think, you know, like you say, the Tuesday evenings of going to sort of Brighton and Watford, like you said, is a big thing, isn't it? You know, I'd be very surprised if we see.
Really?
I would be, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong.
32 years old now. I mean, I'd say not at his prime, but the autumn of his career is probably better than 99.9% of everyone else's bulk of the career, isn't it?
But like Steve said, Barcelona he is Mr. Barcelona. He really is, and I think for what he's done in his career at that football club, I can't ever see him without a Barcelona shirt on. You know, I even thought that about Ronaldo when he left Real Madrid to go to Juventus. personally, I think he will sort this issue out, and he'll stay there for the remainder of his contract. I just can't see him going to come into the Premier League. I'm not saying put pressure on himself, because he's one of the best players in the world. I'd love to see him in the Premier League. I really would. But at this moment in time, I think this will be resolved and he'll have a new deal come the end of the season.
So we're not going to see him in the blue of Manchester. A fellow that we are going to see in the red of Manchester, of course, is Odion Ighalo. Probably the most surprising tale of the transfer window. Yeah. And now all the kind of fanfare and the head scratching and the debate has died down somewhat, even though we're going to talk about it for the next couple of minutes. Maybe, just maybe, are we looking at someone that Man United might need because of what he brings?
100%. I mean, you can't write him off yet. We've seen what he can do in the Premier League before when he was at Watford.
He's a Man United fan. It's going to be the highlight of his career. And
was it another one of them?
Yeah, it's like Bruno Fernandes. They're all Man United fans. And you can quite clearly see why. Look, I'm not being a cynic. Steve Sidwell's being a cynic. I'm believing in this. So, yes, he's taken a pay cut from an astronomical fee to a slightly less astronomical fee. But let's get the cynicism out of the way. He could be the fillip that they need between now and the end of the season, because they've tried other avenues, the youth, they've tried big name players. As I said to Steve, has he got nothing to lose?
I feel so. I feel that they've had big players in, they've spent big fees on big players, and it hasn't worked. This is an opportunity for him to really, I don't know, not set his career alight, but it's a massive opportunity to come into a football club that is constantly under scrutiny for certain reasons. And that area alone at the moment is somewhere where they're struggling with. Yeah. So I think the blend of having that centre forward, and as we've seen there, his physical presence, his pacing behind, I've got a funny feeling that he's going to go in there and do something. I'm not saying something spectacular, but I think he's going to go and score goals at Man United. If he's provided with the service, I just think he's on a hiding to nothing going in there. Everyone's written him off before he's even got through the door. Yeah. You're going into a January window where you're struggling to bring players in, big players that you want to bring in. It's the same with all clubs, and that was a big surprise for everyone. No one, even himself, didn't know that was going to happen, did he? So let's face it. So what an opportunity it is for him to come back to the Premier League and prove a bit of a point.
And it's no stick to beat a player with when the current incarnation of what Man United have perceived that this is the type of player they're going for, because he's still going to be the starting centre forward. Yeah. For one of the biggest clubs on the planet.
Yeah, but I don't want to be negative about it, but they're only going to be. But no, it's just, again, it's the recruitment, isn't it, with United?
Absolutely.
We're saying now that this is. Yes, they needed a striker. Obviously, Cavani didn't want to go, or didn't go through, so they had to get someone in. So fair play to getting someone in, but they're just not identifying the right players, that suit the Manchester United mould. And that's the worrying thing again for me. Is the recruitment that's been going on for a number of years now is still catching up, and it just feels like it's just stopgaps all the time, and there's not like a real short, medium, long-term plan for United at the moment.
Purple patch is needed for himself between now and the end of the season. It's not beyond comprehension, is it?
No, certainly not. Certainly not. And there's enough games there for that to happen. I think we chatted about this. I just feel that the way Man United are at this present time is that there's no direction of where they're going, and that's what worries me. I'm sick of sort of hearing the excuses that sort of Solskjaer's coming out with at the moment. I just feel that, this particular moment is a massive time for Man United and Ighalo coming in. I just think this could turn his season.
Okay, biggest Ighalo fan I've seen so far.